Most people believe success begins with money, opportunity, or talent. But Jim Rohn would tell you something much simpler and far more powerful. Success begins in the mind. Before it shows up in your bank account, before it shows up in your habits, before it shows up in your lifestyle, it begins with the way you think. You see, successful people don't wake up with different DNA or some mysterious advantage. They simply think differently. They interpret problems differently. They approach opportunities differently. They live by a quiet, almost hidden philosophy that shapes every decision they make. Today, we're going to uncover that mindset, the real mindset, the one people don't usually talk about, because once you learn how successful people truly think, your actions change, your habits change, your results change. Successful people take full responsibility, no exceptions. Jim Rohn taught that one of the greatest shifts a person can make is this. Stop assigning blame. Start accepting responsibility. Most people look outward, toward circumstance, luck, the economy, other people. Successful people look inward, toward their decisions, their habits, their responses. It's like the difference between a passenger and a driver. Passengers complain about the bumps in the road. Drivers adjust the steering wheel. When you take responsibility, you regain control. You stop waiting for the world to improve and start improving yourself. And when you improve yourself, the world tends to follow. Ask yourself, where in my life am I acting like a passenger instead of a driver? That single question can change the direction of your future. Successful people think in possibilities, not limitations. Here's something interesting. Two people can face the same problem, yet one sees a wall, the other sees a door. The difference isn't the problem. It's the mindset. Jim Rohn often gave the example of a farmer. A farmer doesn't complain about the weather, the soil, or the seasons. He works with what he has. He learns, adapts, prepares, because he believes the harvest is possible. People with a success mindset do the same. They don't say, I can't. They ask, how can I? They don't say, this is too hard. They ask, what skill do I need to make it easier? They don't say, I'm not lucky. They think, let me create my own luck through preparation. This shift from limitation to possibility is one of the most powerful transformations a person can make. It's not naive positivity. It's strategic optimism. Successful people think long-term, while others chase the immediate. One of Jim Rohn's most important lessons is this. The long-term thinker always wins. Most people trade the future for the moment. Comfort today over growth tomorrow. Entertainment today over education tomorrow. Short-term pleasure over long-term reward. But successful people flip that script. They're willing to be uncomfortable now so they can be free later. Think of a tree. You plant the seed long before you enjoy the shade. You water the soil long before you taste the fruit. Successful people understand this. They think in years, not minutes. In progress, not instant gratification. Ask yourself, what small discipline can I practice today that my future self will thank me for? That question alone separates the successful from the average. Successful people manage their emotions. They don't let emotions manage them. Life will always bring pressure, unexpected situations, frustrations, moments that test your patience. Most people react. Successful people respond. There's a story Jim Rohn used to tell about a man who spilled coffee on his shirt right before a meeting. One person might lose their temper, blame the barista, blame the morning, blame the day. Another person simply wipes it off, changes the shirt, and moves forward. Same situation. Two mindsets. Successful people don't allow small moments to ruin large opportunities. They understand that emotional discipline is just as important as time discipline. Ask yourself, how much progress have I lost because I reacted instead of responded? When you master your emotions, you gain one of the greatest strengths any successful person can have: consistency. Successful people focus on value, not approval. One of the most freeing truths is this: you cannot grow if you are trying to be liked by everyone. Most people shape their decisions around approval. Successful people shape their decisions around value. Jim Rohn used to say, "You don't get paid for time. You get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace." This doesn't just apply to work. It applies to life. People who chase approval become followers. People who build value become leaders. Think of a lighthouse. It stands tall, steady, unbothered by opinions. It shines because shining is its purpose, not because someone applauds. Successful people operate the same way. They contribute. They grow. They solve problems. And they do it without needing validation. Ask yourself, am I making choices that serve my growth, or choices that satisfy others? Successful people run systems, not just effort. Here's the mistake many people make. They rely on motivation. But successful people rely on systems. Motivation is emotional. Systems are structural. Motivation gets you started. Systems keep you going. Jim Rohn explained it simply. Don't leave your future to hope. Design it. A system can be a morning routine, a plan for learning new skills, a weekly review of goals, a habit of reading 20 minutes a day, a rule about how you manage your money. Systems remove guesswork. They turn discipline into automatic behavior. Imagine two people running a race. One sprints randomly, hoping to win. The other follows a training schedule, steady, consistent, predictable. Who do you think finishes strong? Systems build success brick by brick. Successful people learn from every experience, especially the painful ones. Most people avoid discomfort. Successful people study it. They ask, what is this challenge trying to teach me? How can this setback sharpen me? How can this disappointment mature me? Pain becomes a teacher instead of an enemy. There's a saying Jim Rohn loved. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Every mistake, every loss, every failure carries a lesson, if you choose to see it. Average thinkers look for blame. Great thinkers look for wisdom. Ask yourself, what lesson did life give me recently that I haven't learned yet? That lesson is part of your next breakthrough. Successful people think in terms of identity, not just goals. Jim Rohn often said, success is something you attract by the person you become. Goals are powerful, yes, but goals without identity are fragile. Most people say, I want to be healthy. I want to be wealthy. I want to be confident. But successful people ask a different question. Who do I need to become to live that life? When identity changes, behavior follows naturally. You don't force habits, you embody them. A person who is disciplined doesn't struggle to wake up early. A person who is a learner doesn't fight to read 20 minutes a day. A person who is responsible doesn't need to be reminded to take action. Your identity decides your habits. Your habits decide your future. So ask yourself, who am I becoming by the way I think each day? Successful people guard their environment ruthlessly. You can have strong discipline, powerful systems, even a positive identity, but the wrong environment can pull you right back into old patterns. Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That wasn't just a catchy quote, it was a warning. If you spend time with complainers, you start complaining. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you start dreaming bigger. Environment shapes mindset faster than motivation ever will. Think about a seed. Even the strongest seed cannot grow in concrete. But give it soil, sunlight, water, and growth becomes inevitable. Your mind is the same way. It needs the right soil. Choose people who challenge you, books that stretch you, videos that teach you, habits that lift you. Because success isn't just built from within, it's supported from around you. Successful people live with a sense of purpose. Here's the final truth Jim Rohn wanted people to understand. Success isn't just achievement, it's alignment. When you know why you're growing, when you understand the deeper purpose behind your discipline, everything becomes easier. A person without purpose feels heavy even with a small task. A person with purpose feels light even while carrying responsibility. Purpose turns effort into meaning. Think about a traveler carrying a backpack. Without direction, that backpack feels like a burden. But with a mission, it becomes part of the adventure. Ask yourself, why do I want to become successful? What life do I want to build for myself and the people I love? When purpose becomes clear, the path becomes clearer. Successful people don't think differently because they were born special. They think differently because they chose to shape their mind day by day, habit by habit, thought by thought. And that means you can do the same. Your future isn't determined by your past. It's determined by your philosophy, your choices, and the identity you decide to embrace starting today. If you want to grow, grow. If you want to change, change. If you want a new life, start with a new mindset. The power is already in you, waiting for direction. If today's message inspired you, type one of these in the comments to set your intention. I'm ready to grow. I'm taking action. Here's one habit I'll start today. And remember, success begins in your mind long before it shows up in your life.